Hey, and welcome to my journey. Today's video is a weigh-in video. This is my second, I had to stop and think for a minute. My second week post-op weigh-in. Now, this one's not going to be what you expect either. I know a lot of people have this notion that weight loss surgery, you automatically just, the weight just falls off of you, you know, just like a fat suit, just falls off. That's not the case. Some people it is. Some people, a week or two, they've lost 20 pounds. Some people are like me. And I talked to my nurse yesterday on the phone and talked about a couple things. And so I know that what I'm going through is normal. And we'll just talk about some of that here in a minute. But I'll give you my numbers. I weighed in at 302.2 for a loss of 0.8. And that puts me at 74.9. 0.1 away from putting my 75-pound button. I plan on being there next week. I really do. But I've already told you that the nutritionist told us in both meetings that if you lose a lot, I know it's not like a broken record, but if you have not seen one of my weigh-ins before, or one of my other videos, I should say, I just want to tell you, she says, if you lose a lot, your 2-week pre-op diet, you will probably not lose a lot post-op. That's what's happened to me. I lost 29 pounds those 2 weeks, which baffles me how I did it. Because I'm consuming less, far less now than I did then. It was under 1,000 calories. So I did that except for like 2 days. For 2 weeks, I kept it under 1,000 calories. I kept my carbs where it was supposed to be and my protein where it was supposed to be. So I lost that 29 pounds. Now, I just come off of the 2-week liquid diet. I am now on pureed foods. And my calories are running around 700. I think I hit 1,000. Maybe, I don't think it was yesterday. Maybe it was yesterday. I'm not sure. The papers they gave us is, and I think it's more when we get to regular food, not now, because it's kind of hard. You're kind of limited with your pureed and your soft, and I think they give you some leeway, even though you have to get your protein in. That's a must. You have to get your protein in. I think they give you some leeway maybe with the calories, but when we do start the regular food, they would say keep your calories between 1,000 and 1,300. So what I'm doing now is like way less. It's even less than what I track because of the way that my body has been rearranged with the small intestine coming up to the stomach pouch. I'm absorbing fewer calories, fewer, I'm trying to think what, nutrients too, fewer calories than what I'm eating. Now, I read, if it's a lie, whoever wrote it, that they the one that lied. And you consume fewer nutrients. Fewer nutrients are able to absorb into your body as well, because you don't have that part of your stomach that does all these things. That's why you're on vitamins and calcium for the rest of your life. You just have to, that is something that you have to consider. I think we talked about this before. If you're considering weight loss surgery, that's something you have to factor into it. Are you willing or able to take the vitamins and the calcium every day for the rest of your life? And are you financially able to do it? Because they're not cheap. They're just not cheap. I just ordered, I ordered my first, I guess they're not exorbitant. You can go for the higher ones. Like I said before, you could definitely go for the, hold on just a minute. Come, we fly. You can go for the higher ones. I think, where my calcium, kind of the low end, I can't remember how much it is. My multivitamin is $15. It's marked down, so I don't know if that's something that's just a current markdown. It's marked down about half. So I don't know if it's going to go back up. I don't know. But I just put in an order for 3 months, you know, to make sure I got that good price. And the calcium, like I said, I don't remember how much it is. It's not too bad, but that's pills you have to take the rest of your life. Even if every pill you're on right now, they take you off of it because your lab works are good. Those are pills that you have to take, and you have to be willing to do that. But there's also this thing called, now the nurse, when I talked to her, okay, if you don't like, let me just preface this by saying, if you don't like TMI information or talk, then go ahead and turn me off right now, because we're going to have some TMI talk. But if you want to come along with my journey, especially if you are considering having weight loss surgery, these are things that are part of the journey. I can't help it. I can't help that I live in a human body that does human things. Ain't that amazing? Yes. So, one of the things that a lot, not everybody, but a lot of people have issues with are bowel issues, constipation. Okay, it is sick. Constipation is serious. You get impacted, that can be life-threatening. You nurses know that I'm telling the truth. So that's not something you want to happen. Now, I have taken Miralax every single day since I got home, because I had already bought it. I had already read about it. I already knew, take Miralax every day to combat that problem. Miralax did squat for me, which I'm still going to take it, just to err on the side of caution. But since my surgery, today's what? Is today the 20th? Is today the 20th? Whatever today is. My surgery was on October the 4th. I've gone to the bathroom 2 times. That's 16 days. Am I correct? For the 4, that's 16. Is that 16 days? 16 days, 2 times. The nurse, that's why I messaged them, and she called me back so we could talk. And she's like, that's not good. And she explained to me the thing that there was some issues going on, and she explained to me why it was probably happening that way, and blah, blah, blah. We won't go full on TMI. I mean, come on. We don't have to get that deep into it. Lord, did y'all hear that? And so she told me some things to do. So I spent all day yesterday doing some things. Nothing was happening. So I did some things. I took some action this morning, and I had some relief. Probably about half relief, because I'm still feeling tight and full. Y'all know that feeling. So I'm pretty happy with that weigh-in, considering I've weighed several other days this week, and I was up. I was up like 3 pounds. If that gives you any indication as to what is going on in my gut. I'm having serious gut issues, and I'm hoping they'll be resolved by next weigh-in. If they're not, I don't want to go to the hospital for the things they have to do to you in the hospital, because I know, I have heard it, I have read. This girl ain't wanting to go through that. So that is an issue that you have to be prepared for. And I mean, I took the precaution of Miralax, and it didn't help. And I guess maybe I should have taken further actions earlier. But it's just one of those things, you're like, okay, today will be the day. Today will be the day. And that day never comes. And then, blah, 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 blah. Let me talk to the nurse. Well, I also asked her, I said, is it normal? I said, I only lost 3 pounds last week, which was my first week, which the surgeon said, you gain weight after surgery. My stomach has finally come down. This, I told you about my 2 rolls. My top roll, where your stomach is, where they did most of the work, instead of down in your abdomen. Well, they have to do some down there in your abdomen, because they have to work down there on your intestine to pull it up here to your pouch. But that was swollen for the longest time. It has finally gone down, and it's just regular size fat. So that's something else. Your stomach will be swollen, and you could possibly clock a weight gain, depending on what your weigh-in day is. If you set your weigh-in day, week to week from surgery day you know, the next week I let mine go a couple of days because Thursdays are my weigh-in. They have been forever. I like it that way. So I told her, I said, while I got you on the phone, I said, let me ask you a couple questions. And I said, now last week I only lost 3 pounds. I said, I'm up so far this week. And she said, well, part of your up is this bathroom issue. She said, that's not helping you. She said, but what you're going through is normal. She said, you're going to have these ups and downs through your whole entire journey. She said, it's not just now. She said, what I'm going through is a common occurrence. It didn't just happen to me. And it's not from what I ate wrong because, well, I didn't eat anything until Monday. And then that was pureed. Y'all saw what I made, which that chicken salad, oh, it's so good. I will be making that again just to be making it. I might not puree it as fine, but it's very tasty. So I have stuck strictly to what they tell me to because I am terrified of dumping syndrome. I do not want to feel the misery, the nausea, which I could go for some of the digestive issues that it gives you. You know what I mean? I don't want to go through the pain. None of that. So I'm terrified to not do what they tell me to do. So I have been strict. I have been stricter on this diet from the day one of pre-op until I'm sitting here before you today. I have been stricter on this diet than I have anything else I have ever done in my life. I've stuck to them, but I've always had a little, you know, a little something over here, a little something over there. No, I have stuck to it. So it's nothing that I have ingested, drinking, or eaten. Either way, that has nothing to do with my weight gain. It is just a common occurrence after you have this weight loss surgery. It can happen. Doesn't happen to everybody, but it does happen to some people, and I happen to be some people. So we got that. That's out of the way. I feel fine about it. I'm not depressed, or, you know, I'm not, oh my God, I had weight loss surgery and I'm not going to lose the weight, because it'll come. I mean, it'll come. It has to come, because that's the purpose of weight loss. Plus, she also told me the same thing the doctor told me, that you'll get your best weight loss when you exercise, which I've not been able to go but one time this week because of some issues. The issues and the issues don't make sense together, but they do. We'll leave it at that. So I will start back. I'm starting a water walking class. I was in there Monday. And the water director, athletic water director, I don't know what she said she was. She come over there and talked to me. She said she did a water walking class, and she said, I can help you do more in that class than what you're doing here on your own. If you would like to come, then, you know, come. So it's Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. Well, Tuesday and Thursday, I was not able to go, so I plan on starting on Monday. They have it to where on their app, so the class is at 10:30 in the morning, which I don't like, because I like to get my stuff done, but it is just that. So 24 hours is when you can book your place in that class, 24 hours ahead of time. So at 10:30 Monday is when I can go on and get my place for class for 10:30 Tuesday. So that's how you have to do it. Isn't that kind of odd? I think it's kind of odd. I guess, well, I guess maybe if you think about it, instead of a handful of people taking the class and the class is full, and then somebody don't show up and you could have had that spot, or somebody drops out and it's not time to sign up for a class, you can sign up for it daily. So if somebody's sick, there's a spot that you can get. She said hers almost fills up every day, and there was 20 spots. So I will go on there Sunday, or I'll check it. I guess it's, they didn't say if it's, I guess, well, they're open 7 days a week, so it would be Sunday. And so she reiterated what the doctor said, that you do get your best weight loss when you do your exercise. Golly, Pete, seriously? Jacob could drink better than that. Oh, I had him the other day. We'll talk about that in a minute. We're going to talk about business first, and I'll try to remember to talk about that. So then, what did I ask her after that? Oh, the other thing I asked her was, okay, let me ask you this. Is it normal for me to not feel full? I had one day, and it was the day I filmed actually, that I ate my chicken salad and like 2 bites of my green beans and 2 bites of my butter beans, and it hit me right here, just boom, right here. And I was done. I couldn't eat another bite. It was just like a pain. So I knew that was the cutoff. I said, so is it normal for me to not really feel full? To eat exactly what I'm supposed to eat, the amounts I'm supposed to eat, you know, no more than a half a cup, 4 ounces at a time, but still not feel full, not feel what people say they feel, like the heaviness or the weight or the, you know, filling it up to here. She goes, no, she goes, that's normal. She said, nobody is the same. She said, everybody's different. She said, you feel things differently. It's normal. So that made me feel better, because I told her, I said, I feel like I'm doing something wrong. I feel like, what if it didn't take? I'm doing something wrong because I'm eating and I'm not feeling that fullness that they say. You filled your pouch up, but now your pouch is saying I'm full. She said, no. She said, a lot of people, she said, it can manifest in things like hiccups or burping, things like that. And I'm to myself, well, I didn't tell her, but I'm to myself, I'm like, well, you burp a lot. So there's my cue that, okay, you are full. There's your cue. That's your way of knowing, not necessarily that there's a heaviness in your pouch, but there's burping going on, letting that extra air out. So that made me feel good. But what I was going to tell you was, because y'all know I go and I look and I research and I read things. I like to know things on my own. I don't want somebody to spoon feed me the information. I want information that I can see in black and white, and I can take notes, and I can read my notes, and I can read it on the internet. I could them paperworks that they gave me in them nutrition classes, and that in the doctor's office. Ooh, I have read them things over and over, and I'll still find something new. When I read it, I'll be like, well, I didn't see you the last, how many times I read this paper. But I mean, I want to know. So there is this thing they call the dreaded 3-week stall. They say it can happen. I got some notes here. It can happen earlier or later than 3 weeks, but that is a common occurrence with somebody that just had weight loss surgery, is they have a stall around 3 weeks. Well, my stall, partly due to tummy troubles and maybe due to the stalls, it says patients often hit a plateau a few weeks after surgery because of physiology rather than the patient's diet or habits. So that is something that you need to take account of, that if you're following the diet like they tell you to, if you're doing what they tell you to, it's not you, it's physiology. I mean, your body just went through trauma. They just rearranges your guts, to put it in layman's terms. That's what they did. They went in there and rearranged your insides. The physiology surrounding the whole surgery, it manifests. We'll get out here. I think that's on my other page. But it says the liver shrinking diet before surgery. The smaller liver may be great for surgery, but it's not a size your body wants to maintain long term as a fully functioning liver. The body will start to slowly help the liver get back to a healthy size. So that can be part of your stall, because the body is repairing itself. The body, you can't go through a major surgery like that and your body heal overnight. My stomach, it took 2 weeks to go down. Imagine what the insides, they're stapling off all but this much of your stomach. They're taking a portion of your small intestine, pulling it up to your new little pouch, and then having to put in a Y. That's what it's the Roux-en-Y. And I asked the doctor, I said, is the Y in Roux-en-Y because they make a Y down there at your lower intestine, at the small intestine? He goes, yeah. I was like, okay, it made sense to me. So there you go. But that is Roux, R-O-U-X-N-E-N-Y, Roux-en-Y. That is the proper name for gastric bypass. So if you ever see R-N-Y, that's the Roux-en-Y, you'll know what it means. The nutritionist, I already told you what the nutritionist said. The body's response to all the changes that come along with surgery are perfectly normal, with the severe calorie reduction in what you consume to what is not absorbed is definitely not fat gained. So, like I was telling you before, oh, I'm getting a phone call. We shall ignore that. What I was telling you before, you do not absorb all the nutrients that you did beforehand. So that's just part of the 3-week stall. That's how it can happen. It's just physiology. It's not diet those first few weeks. It's just your body is under repair. It's like Sheldon on Big Bang when he went through something, and Penny was like, it's like when your shield is under repair, and they were like, yeah, you know, the Star Trek things and all that stuff. So I thought I would tell you just a few things. This is not an exhaustive list by any means, but these are some changes and some things to expect if you are contemplating surgery. You may already be on the schedule. Because I do talk to several people, and I know one of you, and you know who you are. You're already on the schedule. Some of you are just going in for your consultation. Some of you are somewhere in between. Some of you have not even gone to the doctor, but you're contemplating it. You're thinking about it. So your stomach is going to be smaller, about 1 to 4 ounces. So you'll feel full with less food. And when I first started, this is, I don't know if we talked about this or not. When I first come out, the day of surgery, when I come out, because I come out, well, I went in that morning and I was out that afternoon. I woke up hungry. I was hungry. Now, nothing hit the spot, but I was hungry. The next day I was hungry. I come home, I was hungry. I wanted food. And then little by little, that hunger, I knew there was a difference in head hunger and stomach hunger. But I was feeling that stomach hunger, and I was like, you know, they say that goes away. Some people say, oh, I had surgery. Now I don't even want food. I can't stand the thoughts of food. Well, not me. I was standing the thoughts of food. I was all about the thoughts of food because that's what I wanted. Over these past 2 weeks, it has, excuse me, this chair is so loud. It has morphed from less stomach hunger, even less head hunger. I've been cooking for David. The first week, he did everything. He didn't make me do anything. He took vacation. He stayed home with me. He said, I know you're not going to feel like doing anything, which I felt good, but he was right. I didn't feel like getting up and cooking and doing this. I just wanted to chill out. So he took the vacation. He did cooking for himself. He got me anything I needed. He did anything I needed him to do. You know, I couldn't pick up anything. Well, that was for 2 weeks, but he was there for me. Well, then the second week, last week, I started back cooking. And I cooked him something every single day. And almost every day was a new recipe. And I'm going to tell you what, he loved every one of them. If you want to go see what they are, go on my website, which is in the description box, and go look under Cooking for Two. That's where the recipes are. Well, I couldn't taste what I was making him because I was on all liquid diets. I was not allowed to have food. So there was no tasting involved. I could smell it and I could want it, and I did want it, but it didn't break me. I actually was stronger than I thought I could be. Putting that food out there, sitting at the table with him while he's eating it, it was rough, but really not as rough as I thought it was going to be. Did I want to eat that food? Yeah, and I'd be like, let me smell that food. But I did what I had to do. I knew I couldn't have it, so therefore I didn't have it. And my head started, I don't know, kind of catching up to where it should be. My head is not as longing for things, while my stomach is getting more used to eating these smaller amounts. I don't know how. Now, sometimes I am still hungry. Sometimes I'm just okay, and sometimes I'm just like, I'm fine. I'm fine with that little, bit of food. But for the most part, my stomach is getting used to it, and my head is getting used to it. My head is wrapping itself around the thoughts of, okay, this is your life. This is how it's going to be. The day will come when you can eat just regular food, although it's going to be smaller amounts of food. You'll have to take it slow. That's another thing. You have your 2 weeks liquid. You have your at least 1 week pureed and at least 1 week soft before you start on the 5th week. You can take pureed and soft out longer. You can take liquids out longer if you need to. If you eat a little bit of food that doesn't set well with you, then you can keep doing your liquid. But you need to go to at least week 5 post-op before you start eating regular food. And they want you to eat 1 food at a time. So instead of a casserole with 5 ingredients in it, they would like to make sure your stomach can handle each individual ingredient before you have that casserole. Now, of course, you can have that casserole and you can test it. You're your own guinea pig as long as you eat the amount you're supposed to eat. If it causes you to have dumping syndrome, that's on you. That's if your stomach is able to eat these foods now, then that's on you how you want to do it. I'll see when it comes, because knock on wood, I've not had any issues with anything that I have eaten or drank. Nothing has caused me any kind of dumping, no pains, nothing whatsoever. I've done exceptionally well in that department, in the diet department. So what I was saying was my head is slowly getting its place to know, okay, that sounds good, but I'm not obsessing over it. Like, I thought I would die if I come home and couldn't have a foot long all the way at Whataburger. I thought I would just die. I would die. Could I eat one right now? Put it in front of me. I'll have it with my cup of coffee. I'd be sick as a dog because I can only eat that much of it. And they don't really want you to eat bread. There's another thing, let me tell you that. They don't really want you to eat bread because it can gum up into a ball and kind of get stuck here, and they don't want that to happen. So bread is, it's later on when you can eat whatever you want to eat. Toast seems to do okay. So if you have like part of a sandwich with toast, that would be, you probably have a quarter of a sandwich. You don't want to test it. You don't want to push it by eating too much, thinking, oh, well, this little bit of extra ain't going to work, because, like they said, one meal is not going to stretch your pouch. But that same meal size over and over and over and over is going to stretch your pouch. And then why did you go through this? Why did you go through this to stretch it out and get back to where you started? So you might as well put your little mind to it and know this is how it's going to be forever. It just has to be. So, let me see where. This is another thing that the weight loss surgery can cause, is the vitamin deficiencies, which is why you will take vitamins and calcium forever. We talked about that already, but that is here on my list. Due to physiological changes, these are some good things that can happen. Your cholesterol can decrease, your blood pressure can go down, and you can get rid of your diabetes. I have already told y'all, I no longer take diabetes medicines. He told me not to take one when I got home. He said, how about don't take that one? And so I got home and I still took my metformin. And when I went for my 1 week post-op, he's like, how are your sugars? So I told him, I said, they're not over 84. He goes, well, how about you just stop taking the metformin? I'm like, yes. Listen, if I got to add some pills, it's nice to get rid of some pills. So the way this sounds is when I do labs, whatever that would be, that possibly I can come off my cholesterol medicines and my high blood pressure medicines. How wonderful would that be? And this is just, I don't understand the physiology behind it. That's not as, I don't want to go that deep because I'm not a medical professional and I don't understand all that gobbledygook. But the changes that are made with your hormones and all the things and the things that the stomach produces, all this and that, it changes things in your body. These are some things to be aware of. And like I said earlier, this is not an exhaustive list, but these are some things that you can look forward to after you have the surgery. There are things to think about. Are they things that you can handle? Are these things that you want to deal with? Your mental health. You can go through ups and downs with your moods. I've not noticed that except for like the first week I was home. I cried. Which y'all know I cry a lot anyway, but I had gotten better. But then I would cry at the drop of a hat. But I felt better. Does that even make sense? I felt better mentally, but I would still cry at the drop of a hat. That's just a mood change. That's not a depression thing. That's just a mood change. My mood would just be like, you know, some little thing would cross my mind and I would get teary and stuff like that. So you maybe could experience depression. So you want to make sure that you have a mental health facility. Maybe you've already researched it in case you want to go. I see a psychiatrist. I could go see a psychologist if I want to go with me on this journey, and that may be an option in the future. I don't know. Hair loss. That's another big one. It is, oh, I already forgot now why they said it's part of that physiology, but hair loss is very common. But they say it how many ever months later it starts coming back. So if you can deal with hair loss for, I don't know, 6 months, whatever long it takes, then it should come back. You can take biotin. My team, they do not want you to take collagen. They want you to take biotin if you want to take anything. Loose skin. Be prepared for loose skin. If you have any amount of fat, like me, where you have these belly rolls, when the fat is decreased, that skin's still going to be there. That skin ain't going nowhere. Now, I know you can go to the gym and you can, you know, pump your iron and do all this and that, but if you don't go that route, if you're like me and you're just not going to do that, you're going to have loose skin. And you're going to have to buy, when I get down and get the skin loose, I'm going to start buying them Shaper Mint things that I see all over Facebook. I'm going to contain those things. I'm not just going to let them lay out there, because then that makes you look like all your hard work, you didn't do all your hard work when you did, when skin shouldn't be held against you. You know what I mean? That loose skin should be held against you when you lost all the fat that was inside of it. Now, the part that I'm I'm concerned about, I don't really like, is the loose skin on my legs. And I'm here to tell you, I might not have lost much weight this week, but my body has lost inches. Now, I've not taken measurements. I just didn't. I know I should, but I didn't, and I don't feel like bothering with it. That's something that I might have took on the beginning, but I'm not going to keep up with it week to week. I'm just not. So I didn't bother. But my lower body especially is getting smaller. These hips that stick out, I call them my haunches. They don't stick out as much. My legs are getting looser. When you see the thighs, the inner thighs, they're looser and wrinklier. Now, they're still huge because I have really big legs, but there are changes in my body taking place that don't necessarily show up on the scales, but it is showing up in my body. Even Dave was like, yeah, I can see it. I'm like, yeah. So loose skin is one of them. They say body odor can be one. The changes in your, I guess, hormones. You can have body odor. Thank goodness I have not had that issue. Anemia. You could become anemic. I already take prescription strength iron for that. I have taken that for years. So I got that one under control. Taste and odor sensitivities. Yes. The protein drinks that I was able to drink before surgery, I can't stomach now. I just can't stomach them. The taste, just they're just gross, and I'm not going to drink them. The one protein drink that I enjoy, that I can drink, that I can tolerate, that I really don't mind, is the Quest powder chocolate milkshake. I don't like the vanilla. I don't like the vanilla one little bit, but I'll use it for like maybe sprinkling in baked goods when that time comes, which they want you to stay away. That's another thing. Be prepared to stay away from the carbs forever. They want you to focus on the protein first. Not to say you can never ever have another carb, but that's not your main focus. So you just gotta be prepared for that. But I will put since I got a can of vanilla, a container of vanilla, I'll put it on something. And smells. The first thing David fried in here that stuck to me was that Butterball turkey sausage. He's eaten that for several years now. Didn't bother me. I even started eating it there for a while. Didn't bother me. The smell didn't bother me. And he fried that up, and I was like, oh my gosh, I can't take it. I can't take it. So be prepared for your taste buds to change. You may start disliking things that you liked, but you also may start liking things that you disliked. So it's a good time to try new foods to see if you find something that you didn't know that you would like. Nausea. Thank goodness I have not had nausea. Knock on wood. I am trying not to jinx myself while we're doing all this talking. Look at that. There's a hole in my bottom lip. It slipped right through. I've not experienced any nausea, but it's a common side effect of the surgery. And then tiredness, fatigue. I do have some of that, which I have some of that anyway. Some of my tiredness and fatigue is from not sleeping. I've been up since midnight. I went to bed at 9, and I've been up since midnight. 3 hours, and I woke up, and I was done. So I will crash sometime this afternoon. I'll get over there in that chair, and I'll crash, and then I'll wake up and have to scramble to get David's supper done. So it might behoove me to cook his supper early and have it ready. He doesn't mind warming it up in the microwave. I don't. He's not so persnickety that I have to time it and have it ready the moment he steps out of the shower. No. If I made it in the morning, he would not mind. He would heat it up and be just as happy with it. He even said if I needed help when I took over the cooking, he goes, well, he can still do it. He said, I can come in the mornings and make it and then just heat it up at night. He's a good cooker. He don't mind cooking. And he don't mind doing anything that I need him to do. So I'm like, well, no, I think I can do the cooking. So I got that. I took that back. So I think that covers about what all to expect after surgery. And some of these things are maybe things that will subside, like nausea. that may subside, as you get more used to your stomach starts healing. I mean, it's still healing right now. They wouldn't put you on pureed foods for a week or more and soft foods for a week or more if your stomach wasn't still healing. So you have to take these things into consideration. You have to take them into consideration if you work a job outside the home, that your first week of 2 weeks of sipping liquids, which I got to where I can drink more. I can drink more than just sip little sips every 10 minutes or something like that. No, I can drink my fluids now, and I don't have any issues with it. And your foods you need to take, you need to have your little containers and things. You want to be careful of not eating out of a full container, because like I said, that woman that we got the experience, the example of, where she was watching TV, and before you knew it, she ate too much, and she was miserable for 2 hours because she ate too much. So these are things to think about if you have to go to work. Are there adaptations you can make and still do your job? If you work from home, hey, you got it made. But having to go at work, these are things to think about. So I think that covers everything I was going to cover today. Just talk about what to expect, and this little stall, this little plateau, this little thing that's going on with me, which is fine. When I start exercising, the weight may start dropping quicker, which is what they say it should do. So next week, perhaps we'll have a better loss. If we don't, we don't. But I know that this was the right tool, because it's going to keep me in check for overeating. Like I told you, I'm terrified of dumping syndrome. And I'm terrified of stretching my pouch out if I go off the rails and don't get back on the rails. So it is a tool that it puts you on a leash. And you can only go so far with that leash, It's not really, to me, a retractable leash, because you can go, well, I guess you could go too far and snap yourself back, but you might be tempted to go more times than you should. So I think this was the right tool for me, and so far so good. Let me tell you, I had Jacob, I think I told you on that video I did, I think it was on my What I Eat Today. Holly, she was going to come over here and get something, and she said she was going to the grocery store and she'd come by then. I'm like, would you want to just leave him here so you can go grocery shopping? She said, yes, with all these S's at the end. So she brought him over, and me and her went and bought him some winter clothes, because it turned off cold. I mean, freezing. The numbers are freezing in 31, and he needed some winter clothes his size, because he's just grown so much, and a coat. So we went to Once Upon a Child. Is it Once Upon a Child? Me and Joan were talking about that. Once Upon a Baby, Once Upon a Child. Where it's the consignment store, or you can just go flat out and sell your stuff. She sold stuff he's grown out of. And I have looked and looked and looked at the thrift stores for this little seat that sits on a chair, like a kitchen chair, and you strap it on. Sebastian had one. Had I known Holly would be having a baby, because she never was going to, I would have saved it, because I loved it, and I've never seen another one like it. Well, the store, they had one that would work, because I have this little cane bottom chair that I stick it on that, and that's like my high chair. So I don't have to have a big high chair. I just have this little small, it's a small cane chair. And, well, listen, if I sit on it, I'd be spilling over. Nobody wants to see that. Maybe that's an NSV, to be able to sit in that little bitty chair. So anyway, I strapped it in, so I had this little high chair, sitting there. And she brought him kids meal, or I guess I don't know if it's a kids meal or not. I think it's a kids meal. She got, instead of the pouch, he didn't really care for that, the applesauce. she got him some macaroni and cheese. He wasn't into macaroni and cheese, but boy, he was tearing up them chicken nuggets. I cut them into the grilled ones. I cut them into smaller pieces, and he was eating and eating and eating, and all of a sudden he starts doing this. I'm like, all done? He was all done. He was ready to get down. She's teaching him the baby sign language, and he knows a lot of it. And so he was telling me he was all done. So I let him down, and he played. And Lord, if I didn't say, come here, take it, come here, take it, take it, take it, come here, come here. 400 times. I ain't sitting here in front of you. He had me going. I'm going to tell you what. That is one active little boy. I told her she got a long road to hoe with that one. He's going to give her a run for her money. I'm going to tell you what. As calm a child as she was a calm child. Oh my gosh. I cannot even describe to you how calm she was. She's going to have a rambunctious little boy because he's already all boy. So I was going to have my yogurt snack while he was here, because I have this week and next week I'll do the same thing. Every hour something planned. If I want it, it's there and I have it. And if I don't want it, then I can, wait and go to the next whatever. And so I got my yogurt, my Greek yogurt. I got the 2%. Fayet. I doled out my half a cup. I had him a little half a cup measure. I had my little baby spoon. And he was over there. I said, here, you want some of this? He opened his mouth. He took a bite. The boy chased me down. I said, well, come on over here. Let's go sit down and eat it. I was trying to get over here and sit down in the chair so I could give it to him. I wasn't going to sit him in the high chair for that. He was turning around, trying to grab it, doing his mouth, trying to get the cup and everything. I'm like, come on, baby, let's go sit down. He ate that entire half a cup of yogurt. He would take a bite. He would come over there with his mouth open like a little baby bird. He had yogurt all over him, and he was eating it like it was going out of style. But see, he likes those kind of foods because she don't give him sugar. She's not starting him on sugar. So he's not getting dependent on sugar. So he eats these foods that maybe some babies wouldn't eat. Maybe they would opt to not eat that to go for the sugary snacks. And he doesn't have them. So he's not used to them. He's used to just eating, what she gives him. And he eats it. I think anything she gives him. But he was so much fun. He was just so much fun. He likes to sing with Alexa. He comes over and he looks at her and he does his little pointing and talking, so I know what he means. So I tell her, the first song we always play is Icky Sticky 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 Bubble Gum, Bubble Gum, Bubble Gum. Miss Rachel, that's where he learned it, Miss Rachel. But it's by somebody else on Spotify. It's not by her. So he comes over with his arms up. He's wanting on my lap. That's what we do when he's here with me by ourselves. He sits on my lap and we play songs on Alexa and he dances. He sits on my lap and he bounces it. And when it's time to clap, he claps. And he knows the part where you cover your mouth with the bubble gum. He knows all these things. He knows the open and close song where you open your hands and close them. He's such a smart little boy. He really is. So I kept him, and he did that. And I come in. I said, did you enjoy your shopping trip? She said, yes, I did. Because she didn't have to carry him in, try to keep him. Because I'm going to tell you what, trying to keep him in that buggy when we was in that store was like trying to put a cat in a 5-gallon bucket. It was difficult. If she was pushing the buggy, he was standing up grabbing her. If I was pushing the buggy, he was standing up grabbing me. Well, he'd want to hold me. Well, then he'd want her. I'm like, well, baby, mommy's trying to shop for clothes. So he'd hold his hands back out wanting me. So he'd come over to me. I said, well, let's sit in the buggy. Oh, he's standing back up again. He's a busy little child. I'm going to tell you what. So that's what I did, whatever day that was. And I don't think I've done nothing else. Like I said, well, I'm going to tell you what, though. Listen here. when I'm in there in that pool, when there's a class going on when I'm in there, they are loud. There's like, I don't know if it's fans, pumps. I don't know what kind of noise that goes on in an indoor pool at the Y, but there's like background noise. And you have to talk really loud. And so she like screams, basically, so everybody can hear her. And then they scream stuff back. So it's like she's doing the reading and they're giving the response. And it was just, oh my gosh, it was so loud. I thought I was going to lose my mind. I'm very sensitive to sounds and repetitive sounds. Just, there's all kind of sounds that I'm very, very sensitive to. That don't have nothing to do with surgery. That just has something to do with me. So, all I did was go and pick up my Walmart order and my Food Line order. And that's pretty much all I've done this week, except for I did swim Monday. I'll tell you what I do. Y'all want to know a secret? I have these just strappy shifts. I don't know what else you would call it. It's not a sundress that you wear out, you know, with your shoes and you're going out to eat and you got a sundress on. They're just shifts and they have like wide straps on them. Well, they were too big back several years ago when I was at the Y, so I had to like shorten them up and sew them up here so they would fit because they were like, you know, hanging down. But I got them big enough to go over my bathing suit. That's exactly what I bought them for. Nothing else. No other reason than to go over my bathing suit when I go to the Y. Because I don't dress in front of other people. I just don't. I am not going in the main dressing room for the women and get in there and undress. It just ain't happening. Some of y'all is comfortable with that. I am not. As Sebastian would say, I am not comfortable with that. So they have another room that has like 3 family rooms. It's got a bathtub, a shower in it, and a toilet, and a sink, and a hairdryer, and a chair. So it's big enough to maneuver. When I first started, I went in the shower in the regular ladies' room, and I could hardly walk in and turn around and get back out. I'm like, no, this ain't for me. There was no way I could shower and try to dress in there at the same time. It just wasn't going to happen. It was not enough room, not with somebody my size. So I go in the family rooms. But y'all know I don't like to get wet. So the fact that I go to the pool with the bathing suit on, and that bathing suit gets wet, and you know how bathing suits hard to get off when they wet, they stick to you. Oh, I can't stand that. So what I do is I go in there, I take my little grocery bag, because I have a bathing suit and I have like a little skirt that I pull up on top of it, because I don't like the non-skirt look. Not for me. It's not for me. Not at this size. I didn't know. So I take it all off, put it in and I wear swim shoes too, because I don't want to go barefoot on anything in that YMCA. Not happening. Not in the pool, not in the walking up to the pool, not in the changing room. No, not going barefoot nowhere. My feet come out of my Crocs into the swim shoes, out of the swim shoes into my Crocs. And it'll be that way all winter long, because I have enough trouble getting my socks on when I'm at home, much less trying to, because I'm not a germaphobe, but I creep out touching things where 1,000 other people have been. And I don't want my naked feet on the floor in there trying to put my socks on. It ain't going to happen. If I get cold, I just get cold. But what I do is I wear my shift over my bathing suit there, and it's been cold, so I've had a jacket on over it. On the way home, I just have my shift on and nothing else. My birthday suit. Don't worry, ain't nobody seeing it. And my little jacket. So that's how I go to the Y and how I come home from the Y. Not gonna change into clothes at the Y, because then I would have to take a shower. No, I'm not doing all that. I got a shower at home that's perfectly lovely. I got a step that I can get into, and I got a handheld thing that I can do all my water, you know, rinsing and everything. So that's how I do my pool. That's how I do my pool. Any of y'all crazy like that? Do any of y'all have those like YMCA phobias? I don't know what they call them. You know, all the people that go through there, you just don't know, and it creeps me out. So that's what I did this week. Went to the pharmacy, picked up some medicine. Whoop-de-doo. Got some gas. Whoop-de-doo on that. Our gas has come down. It was $3.69, so I didn't think that was too bad. Not for this day and age, which is a shame to have to say that. Ooh, $3.69. That's not too bad. But anyway, well, that's all. I'm pretty sure I've talked long enough that we can stop it right now, and I will be back. This is Thursday. I'll be back probably tonight because I got a new recipe I'm cooking for David. Cooking for two, and I know some of y'all are enjoying seeing these pared down recipes, and so I'm going to show you all these new ones. Knock on wood, as long as I have time, I don't forget. I'm going to show them to you. So anyway, that will do it for me today. I guess I will see you tonight for that. Probably tomorrow. Who knows? Who knows what day I'll come up. I'll see you Saturday for meal prep. So enjoy yourself until then. Enjoy your day. Stay on plan. You can do it. You can do it. I have faith in you. So that's all for me today. I'll see you in my next video.